Ogopa. Osha sani alompa kule chakula.
Leo ni leo, asemaye kesho ni muongo. Manzi nipe mkono, tembea na micheza na mile, warudi nyumbani bila kiuno. Wacha nikupe mfano, leo ni leo, asemaye kesho ni muongo. Manzi nipe mkono, tembea na micheza na mile, warudi nyumbani bila kiuno. Wacha nikupe mfano. Ni Jumaa, saa 2 ya usiku imefika, weekend imeingia, lazima nitashangilia. Tomo ukifika nyumbani pigia simu Roda na Rukia. Tamika Mona Lisa usisahau China pia. Kuja na pesa za kutosha kabla hujanipitia. Jua Pirates Openda Mangiri simamia. Kiswahili na wakilisha. Mamazi na Fagen Kiroga Club journey from the front to the rear. Bringing down the house no matter how strong the pillar. Kwa sababu leo ni leo.
Kenya's main rail line cuts across 4 kilometers of the densely congested slum of Kibera in Nairobi. Kibera is home to around 750,000 people. The rail line's safety and buffer zones are heavily occupied by settler structures. Kibera also occupies road reserves for major city links. While Kibera is largely electrified, much of the supply is illegally acquired and ignores basic safety standards. There is an obvious need to decongest Kibera to allow for any development and to release land for the public utilities. The approach to achieving this is the crux of the problem. In 2004, the Kenyan government chose forced eviction as their preferred approach to decongesting Kibera. 30-day eviction notices were issued through the daily national newspapers, targeting people occupying 100 feet on either side of the railway. Then, on the 15th of February 2004, the Ministry of Roads, Public Works and Housing demolished 500 slum structures which sat on land set aside for a bypass around the city. A crisis was taking place. Thousands of people were now displaced and without shelter.
They moved in, looting even what had been destroyed. The better part of the day, the Ministry of Roads and Public Works caterpillar demolished. For those who are lucky to salvage their property, it took the effort of the whole family, even school-going children. Just next to the demolished slum, featured for the nation, Langata.
The logical response to the heavy-handedness of the state would have been aggression and confrontation. In this situation, however, Slum Dwellers International, through its local organs, Pamoja Trust and Muungano, undertook to rescue the situation by reversing perspective. They used the tools and strategies that they have learned from around the world. The experiences of the Indian SDI affiliates were particularly useful to the Kibera situation. The solutions the Mumbai slum dwellers had crafted with the Mumbai railways was a perfect precedent for the Kenyans to follow. So when in March 2004, the Kenyan government issued 24-hour eviction notices to residents living along the railway tracks, the Slum Dwellers Federation and Pamoja Trust went to the Kenyan railways, saying that constant demolitions and evictions may produce temporary clearances, but if there was no long-term resolution that included the community, it was not going to last. They invited them to India to explore how very similar problems had been resolved there.
The Kenyan Federation and Pamoja Trust feels that the areas that the poor were living in along the river and along the power lanes were not ideal urban habitats. And the people were there out of necessity. They felt that if government could work with them, then they could begin to look for alternatives, and that they themselves were ready to move if ideal positions for education were identified.
During the exchange, the Indians, both at the municipal authority and at the slum level, shared every aspect of their railway relocation process with the Kenyans. They demonstrated how slum dweller community surveys and data collection were ratified by both landowners and the state, showing how communities, in partnership with municipal authorities, can plan, design and implement all aspects of slum rehabilitation and relocation, exemplifying how this has benefited all parties, at once reassuring and including the communities and making the job easier for the railways. In this way, they were shown the logic of community space, the production of community knowledge, the importance of community mobilization, and how that participation strengthened any state development.
This brings about a fundamental mind change amongst the people. And instead of using coercion to force people to do things that they don't believe in, they get to take government and they see that there are viable options and alternatives. And they're the ones who then begin to push the process. So I think exchanges are an extremely powerful tool, and we should use them in the other areas that are still faced, with the other sectors that are still pushing for evictions.
Most importantly, the Indian exchange demonstrated the benefits of including and using the community rather than evicting them. The stage is now set for the communities and promoter trust to develop meaningful alternatives to eviction. People-driven mapping, enumeration, and land identification are already underway. These concrete steps take advantage of the space that has been opened by the suspension of the evictions, and the city of Nairobi is now poised to develop a powerful precedent in which people-centered development can take place.